Let's get this over with before my hair fall any more than it already has. Hi guys, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my... Why do I have lipstick in my hand? Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would show you guys the female women of color. I thought I would show you guys the women of color authors that I found out about only because of Booktube. First on this pile, I have N.K. Jemisin, who wrote the Broken Earth trilogy, the Inheritance trilogy, and How Long Till Black Future Month. This is the third book in the Inheritance trilogy, so I have not read it yet because this is the only one I've seen in used bookstores because I've been on a new book buying ban for like a very long time now. It's excusable only for like new releases. If it's a book that I want that has been out for a while, I have to get a second hand. That's my rule for myself. So, haven't read this one yet, but I have started the 5th season, which is the first book of the Broken Earth trilogy. It was the first book of hers that I ever heard about because when I started watching Booktube, I started off heavily watching Sam from Thoughts on Tomes because we have similar tastes. And she always talks about N.K. Jemisin. She always talks about the Broken Earth trilogy. And I think at that time, the SFF awards were coming up. So the book was being mentioned in a lot of her videos. And I was just like, high fantasy by one of us? Give me. N.K. Jemisin, her world building is damn incredible. Her characters are complex and amazing. Her plots are complex as fuck. Her stories, though, will break you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That is not necessarily a bad thing. But, for instance, the Broken Earth trilogy, the 5th season, rather, the first book in that trilogy, starts off with this character who loses a child. And for me, that was very personal. And it's just been really hard for me to pick that book up because it is a reoccurring, it comes up a lot because she lost her child in the book. And I'm just like, I can't read this. It hurts. But it's such a good book, but it's, killing me. And I won't let myself pick up another one of her books until I finish that one. So, that book also has a very non-linear plot line, and it's pretty cool to see, I can't even, I can barely follow them when other people write them, so trying to, see how people lay them out on the paper like that, and it's not in order, but then it comes together this, cohesive masterpiece just blows my fucking mind. Again, her world building is fucking amazing. Her fantasies all have, people of color in them, complex characters, complex plot. A little bit of mystery is in the 5th season, which I'm reading now, and it just fucking mind blown. Guys, this is the way the world ends. Again, 3 terrible things have happened in a single day. As soon, a woman living in an ordinary life in a small town comes home to find that her husband has brutally murdered their son and kidnapped their daughter. Meanwhile, mighty sands of the world-spanning empire, whose innovations have been civilization's bedrock for 1,000 years, collapses as most of its citizens are murdered to serve a madman's vengeance. And worst of all, across the heart of the vast continent known as the Stillness, a great red rift has been torn into the heart of the earth, spewing ash enough to darken the sky for years, or centuries. Now Asun must pursue the wreckage of her family through a deadly, dying land, without sunlight, clean water, or arable land, and with limited stockpiles of supplies. There will be war all across the Stillness, a battle royale of nations not for power or territory, but simply for the basic resources necessary to get through the long, dark night. Asun does not care if the world falls apart around her. She will break it herself if she must to save her daughter. So as you see, it wasn't a spoiler. It was right there off in the summary, she lost her child, and it just is a really touchy thing for me. So I'm really a big giant pussy about it. Basically, it's just really hard. So that is the only reason I haven't read it yet. Also, I'm pretty sure she wrote a Mass Effect Andromeda, or it could just be a Mass Effect. She wrote a novel for the Mass Effect, the video games, for them. Yeah. As soon as I can get my hands on that, I'm gonna. She also has the Dreamblood series. I don't know what that's about, but I will be getting it. And then the Inheritance trilogy. And then she also has, again, How Long Till Black Future Month, which is an anthology of Afrofuturism. Fucking yes. This one I know, though, will take me a while because I can't sit through and read an anthology cover to cover. I've never been able to do it. She can't do it. Then I have Sandhya Menon. Sandhya writes fucking amazing YA rom-coms. They are the cutest fucking thing, literally fucking ever. Fight me. I don't care. I stand by that. The first one I read of hers was her first one, When Dimple Met Ishi. This one came out over the summer. I think I started Booktube, so summer of 17. I want to say. And then this one came out last year, which is From Twinkle with Love. And then the next one comes out in May, which is Something About Sweetie. There's Something About Sweetie. Dimple, in the first book, is a code writer. Like, she's trying to get into this program, this scholarship program, or this scholarship competition program, I don't know, over the summer, based on, like, her code writing for apps and such. And then Twinkle is an aspiring filmmaker. And then in the new one, Sweetie is, I think, a track star. So in the first one, Dimple meets Rishi as part of one of the teams in this summer camp program that she's going to as far as the code writers. So she's trying to, she doesn't, you know, her focus is not on traditionally what her parents feel like it should be on, which is, you know, dating, finding a husband. She wants to write this code. She wants to be a successful code writer, a successful, like, app developer. That's her thing. And then she meets Rishi, who she doesn't know, like, her family was trying to set her up with anyway. Okay, so in this one, Twinkle has a huge crush on the popular jock character Neil, but Neil's brother Sahil has a major crush on her. So she's kind of getting closer to Sahil to get close to Neil while falling for Sahil. She starts getting these notes from a secret admirer, and it's just signed in, so she thinks they're from Neil, but they're not. So she's a little torn there, but again, super, super cute. And then in There's Something About Sweetie, Ashish has been dumped by his girlfriend, and he just kind of feels like he lost his mojo. So his family is just like, bro, we can do you better. Like, let us set you up. And then they set him up with Sweetie, who is a track and field athlete. I really, really, really am a sucker for the matchmaker trope. Like, I'm kind of like going along with this so you shut up, but then it actually ends up to be a good match trope. I fucking love that. That's how I ended up reading this one, but I didn't like this one. So I can't wait for Sandy to do it because, like I said, I fucking love her books and they're super fucking cute. Squee. Also, I am reading her books as part of the Year of the Asian Reading Challenge, so there's that. So the third one comes out in perfect timing for me to include that this year because I have until the end of 2019 to get 35 books by Asian authors read. Then I have Ibiza Boy, who wrote American Street, which won some awards. And then the ones that I have are Pride, a Pride and Prejudice retelling with Afro-Latinx characters. And then she edited and wrote a short story inside of Black Enough, which is an anthology with stories basically about what it means to be young and black in America right now. I have not been able to start these because I have not been in the mood for it, but I'm thoroughly looking forward to them. And then Pride and Prejudice, I've started, but I'm kind of on the fence because I feel like I should read the source material first, but I don't like classics, so I'm like, I want to read Pride and Prejudice, but I'm probably not going to like Pride and Prejudice, but also, like, I want to be able to compare and see, you know, what they subverted, what stayed the same, because I enjoy that about retellings, and I can't do it if I don't read Pride and Prejudice. But there's that. And then American Street. Yes, American Street. The rock in the water does not know the pain of the rock in the sun. On the corner of American Street and Joy Road, Fabiola Toussaint thought she would finally find une belle vie, a good life. But after they leave Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Fabiola's mother is detained by U.S. immigration, leaving Fabiola to navigate her loud American cousins, Chantel, Donna, and Princess, the grittiness of Detroit's West Side, a new school, and a surprising romance all on her own. Just as she finds her footing in this strange new world, a dangerous proposition presents itself, and Fabiola soon realizes that freedom comes at a cost. Trapped at the crossroads of an impossible choice, will she pay the price for the American dream? So yeah, really need to read that one, but would not have ever come across those. Like, I have only ever heard them discussed on Booktube. Like, these have not popped up on Goodreads, or if they have, they've popped up as books that people are reading that I only know through Goodreads. So either way it goes, I know about them because of Goodreads. I mean, Booktube. Shit. Then there is Renee Ahdieh. A lot of people were gushing about The Wrath of the Dawn. I went and read it because it was recommended by people who read ACOTAR, and this was so when I first started Booktube, because believe it or not, A Court of Mist and Fury is what led me to Booktube. That being said, I was looking for more on that, and then a lot of people were recommending this as, you know, part of the, if you like retellings and you like ACOTAR, you should read this. And so I read it and I'm obsessed. I love this story. This story is incredible. I recognize that there are issues and bits that are kind of just like, that could be worked on, but that's with most books. That being said, I still fucking love this book. I reread it probably 3 times at this point. Shazi and Khalid, they're the cutest to me. I just fucking love them. I love everything about their dynamic, being that she came in with the intent to kill him, because for those of you who did not know, this is a retelling of basically 1001 Nights, like Scheherazad's story, where she comes in and the king is killing a new bride every night. She comes in and manages to stay her execution by telling him stories. That is essentially this. Now, there are some things that are changed, obviously, because it is a retelling, not the original source material, but I do love that how she came there with the intent to kill him. Like, bruh, fuck you, we not doing this. And despite herself, she kind of like, in an effort to spend more time with him to get him to keep from wanting to kill her, she also gets to know him better and finds out why he's doing what he's doing, and she also starts to fall for him. But it doesn't turn out to be one of those, I mean, he's a crazy serial killer, but I love him anyway kind of things. It's like, oh, okay, this is not what I thought it is. It's not something he wants to be doing. He's kind of just as trapped as everybody else is. Also, like, I love the fact that Khalid acknowledges and encourages, like, the strength in her and the brassiness in her, whereas other people are like, bruh, you gonna let your woman talk to you like that? And he's just like, let her talk to you like that too. And I fucking love it. I love it. And then lastly, I have Tomi Adeyemi. Now, Children of Blood and Bone, like, initially reading it, I love it. I can acknowledge that there are some things that are very, very formulaic about this book, especially with, like, the 3-act structure is very blatant, like, it's very obvious, which, I mean, okay, so what? But also there were some things, like, with all of the questing, like, there were a fuck ton of quests in here, and going back and looking at them, like, that was a little bit annoying. But, that being said, I still love this book. I still fucking love it for what it is. I'm very grateful that it exists, and it is still incredible. Do you know why I love this book? And I have been talking to people about this book, because there are a lot of people who are like, it wasn't good, blah, blah, blah. But, that being said, I think, especially for people of color, a lot of things stand out about the book because, it has a lot of things that we recognize from, you know, issues that we recognize culturally, like colorism, like Black women and their relationships with their hair, basically, and other people's relationship with their hair. How they treat them, whether their hair is straight or kinky. Now, granted, in this book it has magic attached to the reasons your hair is the way it is, but the message is still there as far as, like, so there's this culture of people who have magic, and whether or not they are dark or light skinned and have kinky or straighter hair is all dependent on whether or not they are marked as having had magic or not. And so it is a visual, like, instead of just it being you have kinky hair and oh, I recognize based on the color and the texture of your hair that you are one of these people, and we not cool with that. So it takes away, like, the other cultures doing it and focuses more on, like, African American people doing it to each other. But I don't know that a lot of people looked at that per se and they caught up on, well, the story was in. It was, but there are a lot of messages in here which I appreciate. And this is the kind of story that I would have fucking wanted when I was a kid. Now, granted, I was reading Harry Potter, which was great, but there's like one Black person in that universe that I can call out. And I ain't talking about Hermione. Was it Sam? Or whatever. Regardless, there was just like one or two. This is a cast of characters that are dark skinned. And I needed that as a kid. I fucking love that. The world building, I love. The themes that are inside this story that apply to real world, I fucking love. And that's without even knowing what the book, like, even if you take out what the book is about. So in this book, we have Zaylee. Zaylee is born to this subculture of people in this African-based fantasy world that she's descended basically from a line of magic users. Her mother was one. When she was a child, her mother and a bunch of other magic users were killed, and they left their children alone. Magic was destroyed because people were essentially afraid of it, but because of her white hair, she is marked as a magic user, and she is still treated as lesser than because of it. Now later on, Zaylee has the chance to bring magic back to the rest of them, and you know, it's a very stereotypical, like, quest for the magical thing to return magic to the people, it's a story you've seen before. But you ain't seen it with all Black people. You have not seen it with Black people that are marked as being magic users by having, you know, kinky hair versus straighter hair that everybody has, or straighter hair versus the kinky hair that everybody has. You've not seen it, basically what I'm getting at is with all black people, you have not seen it with all black people that are marked as being other because of the texture of their hair or the color of their hair. You haven't. You can't tell me you haven't. So yeah, while it has its problems, it's not problematic. So that makes it a win. Like, it's the first book, and it's her first book, and she's, you know, she's younger than me, I think. So this book it's a big giant W for black people. It just is. And that's how I feel about it. You can say what you want about the story. Yeah, it does. But it doesn't handle it. It at no point did I go, ooh, that's making us look bad. That's not a good look. That's not anything. Like, I was looking at it for all of the black aspects of it, and then the story secondary. Because you know what? We don't have a lot of these. We don't. Like, how many fantasy books can you name with all black people? Without, you know, before you watch this video, if I hadn't told you about N.K. Jemisin, if you didn't know of N.K. Jemisin, or even if you do, if that's the only one you can, who else can you name has fantasy books that are centered around and including like a cast of majorly or all black people? Don't worry, I'll wait. So you can say, you know, so I'm griping about it because a lot of people talk to me about, oh, the story's not that great. It's so much more than the story, though. So much more than the story. Much like The Bells, which I have and I never finished, but I still have it, as well as the sequel, because the themes that are mentioned in it are just as important as the story. So even if the story and the plot is subpar, it's subpar because you're taking out all of the other aspects. So yeah, maybe it can't stand alone. Maybe if it had been, you know, a book with all white characters, it would have been boring. But even then, it still wouldn't have fully, you know why? Because the world building, the magic system. For that, you know, people read such total bullshit. Qatar. So I don't want to hear it. I don't. Like, I think people are looking at it with a harsher light because it's so hyped up. But you know why it's hyped up? It's because we don't fucking have this. We didn't have this until now. Especially not for YA. I didn't see it. Not like this. Look at this. This is a fantasy book with a dark-skinned black woman on the fucking cover that was hyped up as a major release. So it wasn't just released and people didn't know about it. You had to find it. This was like being thrust into the spotlight, and it's got a dark-skinned person on the cover of it. That already right there is like major accomplishments. And then on top of that, inside we have like colorism, you know, this love-hate relationship people have with their hair, all of that stuff. And then so many others that I talked about in my review, and I can't even think about them right now because I'm all riled up and shit. But all of that stuff for me made this amazing because we don't fucking have this. And our teenagers and young adults and middle grade kids, they need this. Kids now are so fucking lucky. I didn't have this when I was that age. I didn't. So, I mean, mediocre plot, maybe. Everything else was damn on point. So, and plus it was the first book. It was the first book in a series that was also a debut release. So, lighten up. I think it's fucking awesome. And that's like acknowledging there are problems. But I just told you all the reasons why I think it was awesome. But you know what? Even if all of that stuff wasn't in there, even if this was a book that did not have a black person on the cover, even if, you know, this book did not have all black people in it, I would have liked it anyway. Would I have said, the plot was kind of weak a little bit? Maybe. But, I mean, all books, there's no fully original plot. All you can do is, like, subvert a trope that's already there. Twist a plot that's already there. But major plot point, there is no book that's wholly 100% original. I'm going on a tangent, but I'm a little touchy. Cause y'all rant and rave and go damn fucking crazy for Sarah J. Maas's books. And the first one was what? A retelling. So you can't tell me that shit was an original plot. It was fucking fan fiction, and the fan fiction was like a Cinderella retelling. So miss me with all that. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. And I feel like this book is doing amazing things and it's needed. So I'm very grateful for that. And maybe, yeah, hopefully it can only go up. Like if she fixes the plot and then keeps all of these themes and keeps adding these real world themes that our black kids need to know about and know that it's okay to acknowledge their hair being the way it grows out of their fucking scalp and to love their skin the way it is, maybe because they see, you know, this powerful ass character that's dark as hell on the cover of this book. Yes. Why not? I fucking love this. But at any rate, I'm going on a tangent, and that is the last author of color, female author of color, Jesus, that I discovered because of Booktube. And yeah, I'm gonna go edit this and upload it. What time is it? 4:35. I'm doing good today. Alright. I'm gonna get off here. Thank y'all for watching. I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.